An open internet means consumers can go where they want, when they want. This is the goal of the net neutrality federal policy passed on February 25, 2015. So what is net neutrality? Who controls it? And how does it affect us? In short, net neutrality is a principle that aims to provide equal opportunity for internet speeds and access to websites. It will achieve this objective in part by preventing dominant network owners from creating elite internet fast lanes for the few companies that can afford it, referred to as paid prioritization, and from blocking access to websites. The policy also prohibits throttling, a practice that degrades access to web content that may contradict the network provider's business model. The following standard, adopted by the order, summarizes the blocking, throttling, paid prioritization ban. Any person engaged in the provision of broadband internet access service, insofar as such person is so engaged, shall not unreasonably interfere with or unreasonably disadvantage end users' ability to select, access, and use broadband internet access service or the lawful internet content, applications, services, or devices of their choice, or edge providers' ability to make lawful content, applications, services, or devices available to end users. Reasonable network management shall not be considered a violation of this rule. Edge providers are online applications such as Skype and Netflix that use broadband internet to provide content for the end users, or us, the consumers, to access.
There has been previous attempts to regulate these actions, but this new policy will reclassify broadband internet under Title II of the 1932 Communication Act and Section 706 of the 1966 Telecommunication Act, which was intended for phone company. The reason for this reclassification is the belief that the internet has replaced the telephone as an essential utility and should be treated as such. Who controls it, you may ask? The Federal Communication Commission is an independent, congressionally overseen agency that regulates communications via radio, television, wires, satellites, and cables in the 50 states, Districts of Columbia, and the U.S. territories. The FCC is the primary authority for communication laws and regulations. A 3-2 votes by the agency commissioners approved the new Open Internet Order in February. The Commission states that the decision was guided by 3 objectives: America needs more broadband, better broadband, and open broadband network. The Internet, however, is not going to change overnight or anytime soon. However, the Open Internet Order is not forecasted to become official until the summer, and even then, there won't be any noticeable changes.
Major telecom companies such as Verizon, whose practices were namely targeted in the order, will challenge the order in court. Judges may suspend the regulation. A future FCC, with new agents that may shift the balance to the alternate political party, may repeal the ruling altogether. If the net neutrality order is repealed, providers such as Comcast and Verizon may be able to create a tiered internet, in which businesses will have to pay them to have their content broadcasted, and consumers will have to pay more for access to more content.
Consumers may be subject to higher costs anyway, and the likelihood that service providers will raise rates to cover the cost of litigation against the neutrality regulation. On telephone service bills, a small portion of the fees charged goes towards a federal Universal Service Fund, which is used to provide affordable access to telecommunication services in rural areas, underserved inner cities, and schools. Due to broadband internet's reclassification as a utility like telephone service, the Universal Service Fund fee may soon appear on the broadband bills, or our existing fees may experience a slight increase to cover contribution to federal funds. We can also expect enhanced transparency, a ruling adopted by the order that requires broadband providers to disclose promotional rates, all fees and/or surcharges, and all data caps or data allowances, and any network practice that is likely to significantly affect the end user's use of the service.
So, is the new net neutrality legislation a problem and does it need to be solved? For now, we don't know. We do know that the new Open Internet Order was issued to address problems affecting the consumers, such as content being blocked, network providers changing the speed of our internet access to certain content, and paid prioritization. Until these rulings take effect and court proceedings further divulge the order and its interpretations, the Internet as we know it will remain the way we know it.